Hi, so I'm finishing up about Eostre. As far as the spring aspect goes, I don't really have a lot of relationship with that because I rarely live anywhere where in April we're doing anything involving gardens except when I was a child when we'd have all our little seeds planted in a zillion egg cartons and have them inside waiting until after Memorial Day in May where we could finally plant them outside and it was safe. Um, so I've always found any of the pagan spring equinox rituals about seeds and all of that to be rather strange, especially when I'm in like Canada and there's snow everywhere or Vermont. so, but what I do now, like I have spent 2 springs in England, but they were in London, so I didn't get to see a lot of growth of what was going on, squatting and in the city. So I have, though, been in Ireland during February, March, April, and I will say that the weather, oh my God, in February and March is so cold and wet and that I don't believe that it was so much of a time of celebration as a time of fear of the same ambiguity that she brings when she starts to light in the sky, but we can't see the sun. And if you want to have a relationship with her and you're not finding it easy, definitely be awake before the sun rises. And that's when you can feel her power. It's amazing. I love it. I hate when I miss it. I hate it. As far as that time of year, early April, it's not yet as though the gardens are doing great, and for an agricultural people, there's a lot of times of anxiety in the spring. You might have some of, like kale is there because it's winter hardy, and you would have, the sunlight is returning, so, some eggs, and, the sheep are giving milk, and in, May you'll be having, as the name for the month of May, milking 3 times a day. But as far as like gardening and plants, we can be grateful for what could be foraged, but there were a lot of people, they weren't living with just plain foraging, it was farming. And that fear of, just like the dawn of, is the sun going to come? Is the warmth going to happen? That's the same thing during that time of year about summer. And the fact that there's such a celebration of like, oh, life has returned and stuff with neo-pagan stuff, I don't really feel is very accurate for her that time of year because we're still scared. We're still scared because we don't know how these, everything we've been maybe plowing starting in March, and we don't know how it's going to go. We don't know if they're going to be trampled, if the seeds were bad. We have no idea, and it's frightening. And I think her holiday was so important because of doing offerings to say, please, please help the fertility, help the seeds. It wasn't necessarily a celebration, in my opinion, of all this fertility and seeds and stuff. Like, it had a lot also to do with please give that energy of spring to what we planted because we're frightened, just like we're frightened before the sun rises. Anyway.